Hello and welcome to UMI 101, Introduction to Umineko When They Cry, or When the Seagulls Cry. This is lecture one of theoretically eight. This is an introduction and a summary of episode one. I am your professor, Silas, um, and let's just get into it. I've recorded that intro 4 times, so I'm gonna try not to keep doing that. I'm gonna try to just accept my mistakes. This is the table of contents. We're gonna go over what is Umineko. We're gonna talk about the music. We're gonna talk about the premise of the story. We're gonna talk about the structure of the story. We're gonna go over the trigger warnings. We're gonna do a brief art discussion, go through all the characters. We're gonna summarize episode one, The Legend of the Golden Witch, and I'm gonna share what I remember were my initial questions and impressions when I first read this. Whenever I first read this, I don't know, a month or two ago. What is Umineko? People are always asking me this, and I tell them that it's a visual novel written and illustrated by Ryukishi '07. Um, it was released in 2007. It is a linear story. There are no branching paths in this visual novel. It's very long, very complex. It's genuinely one of the best stories I have ever read. Maybe the best story I've ever read, honestly. I really, really love it. And it's a beautiful love letter to the mystery genre, which we love. Okay, so pause this video, go to the first link in the description, and you're gonna watch that fucking video. And while you're at it, you're gonna watch the next video in the playlist. The first one is the introduction, the opening, if you will, of the original visual novel, and then the next video is it's the introduction. Oh my god, I keep saying introduction. I mean opening. I'm already cracking up, guys. This is too hard. Um, it's the anime opening. The anime sucks, but the opening's really good. And the music is really good. And you don't actually have to watch them. I really just want you to listen to the music. Um, because we're going to talk about the music right now. So pause and go listen to those. And now you're back. Thank you for doing that. I definitely believe that you did that. Let's talk about the music in Umineko. It's fucking insane. It's crazy. There's over 200 songs. There's multiple artists. It's really, really, really good. It is like it's so diverse. Like there's a lot of organ stuff, which is great. There's rave. Uh, there's progressive house essentially. There's beautiful piano, just like gorgeous classical music. Um, and right before recording this, I went through the whole soundtrack and prepared two playlists. One has all of my favorites, which ended up being 127 songs long. It's a really good soundtrack. But then I made an essentials playlist that has about 5 to 6 songs per like episode that they were first played in. And that playlist is the one that I just tricked you into opening, with the link in my bio. Nope. The link in the video description. Um, um, but just so you know, episode one, the essential tracks: Hope, Fortitude, Fishy Aroma, Golden Slaughterer is like one of my favorite songs from Umineko and just in general. It drives me crazy. It's the song that plays when there's murder. Bring the Fate, an organ short, 600 million in C minor. Um, I also, as you can see on the slide, I'm just going to put memes on the slides. I probably won't read them out loud, it's kind of just a fun little thing that you can look at if you want to, but they're not really important. Um, anyways, if you listened to the one with all of my faves in it, that would be nice. That'd be crazy of you, but it would be like extremely kind. Honestly, if I could legally, I would put music from the soundtrack in the background of this video, but legally I'm unable to do that. So if you go onto one of those playlists and listen to the music maybe like at 50% or something and then listen to this, like maybe you could kind of game that, and be able to do what I can't do because of copyright rules. The premise of the story is that a rich family gets stuck on an island because of a big typhoon, and then people start getting killed. And there's a lot of mysteries, such as what's magic? Is it real? Does it even matter if it's real or not? Who's the culprit? What's their motive? Is there such thing as objective truth? How do I escape this endless torment? Who is that white woman in the huge portrait my grandfather put up? Um, the story is structured in a fun way, which is that the first half is called the question arcs. That's episodes 1 through 4. And then there are the answer arcs, episodes 5 through 8. I will do one video per episode, maybe, probably. That's what I'm planning. And I will divide each episode into 3 acts. Um, this episode is a little different because I have to do this introduction thing. So I don't know if that's going to make it like longer or just more tedious. But we have to deal with it. And then there are 2 epilogues for each episode. There's the tea party and then there's the question marks. And you'll see about that. There are many triggering things in this visual novel, in this story. There's like it is about generational trauma and cycles of abuse. Like that is one of the main themes. Um, there's a lot of injuries and death. Um, as someone on doesthedogdie.com asked, "Does someone die?" And someone responded, "It is a murder mystery game." So yes, people die a lot. If you are worried about a certain way of dying that you don't want to hear about, let me know. Um, but the actual really bad trigger warnings are child abuse, pedophilia, incest, and rape. The last 2 don't come up for a while, but the first 2 are present quite uh, like almost immediately. Maybe not almost immediately, but they will become apparent. The sprites, I love the artwork in this game very much. Ryokishi does a great job with expressions. I like his original art the best. Um, they're just so cute. Look at Bowler, he's so cute. I played the PlayStation version, so I am familiar with those sprites. I also think they look quite nice. They're just a little less. They lack feeling, or they don't have as much feeling to me. But the PlayStation version also has a lot of really nice, like full illustrations, and all of the backgrounds are illustrated, which is quite nice. Um, there's also the Steam sprites. We don't talk about those. Oh God, Jesus Christ, I forgot I did that. Now we're gonna meet our beloved cast of 18 people. There's only 18 of them, guys. If they have a stupid English sounding name, they're probably one of Kinzo's kids or grandkids. If they have a Japanese name, they're probably a spouse or a servant. We're just gonna begin with the Oshiramiya family, which is the family that is about to get super murdered. Their family crest is the one-winged eagle. It's pretty sick. I don't know why I put the family tree here. It's just gonna make you scared. But this is a family tree. Don't worry about that. Um, Ushiro Miyakinzo. He is in his 80s. He's a big grandpappy. He's the worst father ever. He's insane. He's down bad for a woman that's been dead for decades. Doesn't leave his study. He's obsessed with the occult. His outfit is swag as fuck. But why does his tie go over his cape? What's happening? Why does he do that? Ah! Ah! Kraus. He's 52. I hate this guy. He's Kinzo's first kid. He's next in line for the headship, but unfortunately, Kinzo hates him, so that's a problem. He's the oldest brother, and he sucks. He's bad at everything. He's an awful husband and an awful businessman. Natsui, my beloved, she is Kraus's wife. She deserves better than everything. She gets headaches a lot, probably because of how shitty her husband is. Um, she does a lot of work. Some would say all of the work. Probably my favorite of the moms. To me, she's a closeted lesbian, also. Um, just a character that is really defined by her uh, incomprehensible devotion. Hashtag not Sui sweet. Jessica, I love Jessica. This is Kraus and Natsui's daughter. She's a teenage girl. She's trapped on an island, and her parents suck. She has this unrelenting sense of self and personality that just shines through no matter what. She's one of the characters that just stays good. Like she's always good. I'm always rooting for her. I love her. She plays guitar. Um, she's a tomboy, but just don't pay attention to that skirt. She talks like a boy. Like in Japanese, she has a specific way of speaking that doesn't translate well over, but essentially she talks very crudely, um, and is often chastised for that. It's Jessica Thursday. This is Ava. She's Kinzo's second kid. Um, and she was a girl boss before that became a overused and overrated term. She hates Kraus, her older brother, and she wants the headship. She's mean. She's really mean and she's cruel, but she does love her husband and her son. She's not a great feminist. This is Hideyoshi. He's in his 60s. He's Ava's husband. He's nice. He took the Ushiramiya family name because Ava made him, because she did not want to lose her place in the family register. Because as a woman, she should have. It's a very traditional family. This is George. He's 23. He's like if just some guy was the perfect son. He's fucking banana colored. I hate this guy. I don't like him. I didn't like him from the beginning very much, and then I continue to not like him. I really tried to, and he has his moments, but yeah, he looks like the guy from Curious George, is what Katie has said. Rudolph, Rudolph. He is Kinzo's third kid. He is a huge slut, but he's also a wife guy. He's genuinely a criminal. He has fucking everyone has these white shoes, and it's really a lot. Like he's the third dude to have white shoes. I don't like it. He has tits in the original art, and in the new art he doesn't, which is pretty fucked. This is Kyrie. She's Rudolph's second wife. She's also his business partner. She is the thinker. She's scary and hot. And if I saw her, I would simply turn around and leave. Her outfit is maybe one of the most insane ones in this game. To be honest, like, just so you know, I love the outfits. I think they're fun. They have a lot of character. Kyrie's, uh, the tie pin under the boobs and the holes cut in the shirt is just something else. And there's just a random belt. Like, why is the belt there? I don't know. I don't have any memes, and I wrote that I don't have any memes twice. I just realized that. Battler! He's Rudolph's son. His mom is Rudolph's late first wife, but don't worry about her. He just rejoined the family register after 6 years of sulking because of how his dad remarried after his mom died. Um, he's like a horny anime boy, but the horniness is like plot relevant. Who said that? People give him earrings in fan art. I really agree with that. He's the struggler. He's the main character. He should be canceled. At least he has black shoes. His introduction is him saying he says how his name is written and then says, "Can you read it?" And anyone who speaks English says no. Uh, but apparently in Japanese, it's also written in a confusing way. So there you go. This is Rosa, Kinzo's fourth kid. He has four children. Um, and she is much younger than her siblings. Don't even worry about her. She has a fashion business and it's failing. She's a single mom. I couldn't find any memes of her, so I found some pictures from the fighting game spinoff, where she's just swinging a huge golden bar, and I really was enchanted by that. This is Maria. She's Rosa's kid. She says, ooh, woo, woo. She loves witches. She loves the occult, just like her grandpappy. She's got a big imagination, and she has a frankly beautiful outlook on life. Um, I actually got her when I took a Witch Umineko character RU quiz, which was a delight to me because I love her. She gets a lot of hate, but those people are wrong and they should die. This is Genji. I don't know his age, but he's old. Probably as old as Kinzo. He's cool. He's stoic. He's Kinzo's boy best friend and butler. I don't think he ever smiles. Something is profoundly wrong with him. Shannon! Shannon! Shannon's the best character. Shannon is wonderful. She's polite. She's sweet. She's positive. She's shining. Shining girl. She's trying her best. She's the best girl. I love her. She's been a servant for 10 fucking years, which is insane. Uh, her maid outfit is also insane. Like, she's got that gap to show off her thigh tattoo. It's really something. She's so cute. And she's unfortunately dating George. This is canon, or I might say canon. I think it's canon, but sometimes I say canon by accident. He's a little bitch. He hates talking to people. He's depressed. He's also my favorite, um, or one of them. He's been a servant for 3 years. He's kind of like a brother to Shannon. Um, and I love his stupid striped socks. Uh, this is Kumasawa. She's in her 80s. Not super important. She's a lurker. She's a slacker. She gossips. She loves mackerels. Whenever something dramatic happens, it's always like Kumasawa's like watching in the corner, and she's like, "Oh, how unfortunate." Goda. This is Goda. He's good at cooking. He's another servant. He's narcissistic. He's irrelevant. He is genuinely irrelevant. There's a lot of memes about him, but he is not important. This is Nanjo. He's also not super important, but he's Kinzo's doctor and a close friend. Um, and he's basically considered a servant most of the time. This meme of him as a chandelier is like really frightening, but it's all I could find. Okay, you got it. That's our cast. 18 people. I know it sounded like a lot, but it's really not that many. There aren't any others. There will never be any others. No one else is on the island. There's 6 servants, including Anjo. There's one grandpa. There's 4 of his children, 3 spouses, and then there's 4 kids/cousins. There's no one else. But Silas, what about Beatrice? Shut the hell up. That's just a painting. What was that? Episode 1. We're gonna go over episode 1 now. The Legend of the Golden Witch. I am gonna be honest. I don't have presenter notes. So this is going to be rough. I maybe should have made those, but I didn't make those. And I'm gonna muddle my way through. So look forward to that. Okay, Act 1, Part 1. We begin with an insane amount of exposition. Just like a lot of exposition. Because Battler, the main character, is back for the first time in 6 years. We find that Kinzo refuses to die. That's the old grandfather, the head of the Ushiramiya family. He is the one who lives on this island with Kraus and Natsui and Jessica and all of the servants. Everyone else is visiting for the Ushiramiya family conference. A lot of words to say in videos. Gotta watch out for that. I don't know how YouTubers do it, honestly. So we find out about the legend of the witch Beatrice, who is the woman in the portrait that Battler has never seen. It was not up 6 years ago, and he's like, "Hey, what? Who is that? What is that?" Um, and they're like, "Oh, that's Beatrice." And Maria, our lovely little child, believes that she is a witch, the Golden Witch, and she lent Kinzo 10 tons of gold, which is what he used to bring back the family wealth, because they were a very affluent family through the Yoshiramiyas, and then they fell in the Great Kanto earthquake, and then they were able to build the money back up because of Kinzo being really good at investing. Um, and because he had a lot of money from somewhere, and the rumor is that it was from Beatrice. Whether she was a real person or a witch, people are divided. Maria thinks it's a witch. Most people think it was a wealthy benefactor. There is an epitaph written right next to the portrait that's very important, and I will read it to you later. Um, but yeah, so there's a spooky epitaph. Maria insists that Beatrice is real and a witch and lives on the island in a forest, or in the forest, because the island, as you can see in the picture, is quite large, and there's a mansion, and then there's a lot of just like forest, like there's no paths in the forest or anything. They straight up live in a mansion and don't have trails through the forest. It's just they don't go there, so it's kind of spooky. Um, the servants, something else to note: the servants refer to themselves as furniture. Uh, Goda doesn't, but who cares about him? Nanjo doesn't either, but he's not really a servant. Um, so that's kind of funky. And there also was a shrine that is not there anymore. And another thing that the characters note as they arrive at Rokenjima, which is the name of the island, is that there are no birds, there are no seagulls crying, which is what Umineko means. It means sea cat. It's a specific type of gull in Japan that sounds like a cat, I guess. I should really look up a video of that or something. Um, Anyways, so it's the Yoshiramiya family conference. They've all met. They're all on the island. Kinzo refuses to come to dinner because he hates his fucking kids so much. And he's talking to Nanjo about how it's too late. He already started the ritual, and he wonders if anyone's gonna solve his riddle. And he laughs a lot, and he screams Beatrice's name also and cries. He seems like he's doing really well. Um, and all the adults are his adult children are quite frustrated because they all need a lot of money right now, and they want him to die so that they can collect inheritance. But Nanjo last year said that Kinzo had 3 years left to live. No, 3 months left to live. And then it is a year later, and Nanjo is like, "Yeah, he didn't die. I guess I was wrong." So they're a bit frustrated about that. Um, and then Maria reads a letter that she got from Beatrice at dinner to everybody. Um, first of all, when asked who gave it to her, she just says Beatrice. Like she will not say anything else. She will only say Beatrice, which really freaks Rosa out, because that's her mom. Because that's she hates it when Maria talks about witches, because Rosa sucks. Um, so the letter is supposedly from Beatrice. It says that Kinzo, I'll kind of paraphrase, Kinzo suspended a contract. One of the terms of the contract specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Ashirmiya family as interest. But then she notes a special clause, which is that if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, then Beatrice will abandon her rights of collecting the stuff. She warns them that the collection of the interest will proceed shortly. She tells them that Kinzo gave her the family head's ring, so that's how you can tell this is legit, because the family head's ring was used to stamp the envelope. And she says Kinzo displayed the location of the hidden gold. It's in the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph, so even the servants could theoretically gain the gold in the headship. And then she says, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo Sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. And then she signs it, Beatrice the Golden. And so there's an uproar. Everyone's like, what the hell is this? Beatrice isn't real. I'm so confused. Blah, 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 blah. They're knocking on Kinzo's door. He refuses to leave his study. He doesn't even say anything. He's like, I hate my fucking kids. And Nanjo's like, maybe you should talk to them. And he's like, that's like how he talks. Um, so uh, and then Balor, so everyone's kind of theorizing about like what's going on. Uh, and Balor talks to his mom, his stepmom, Kyrie, who introduces him to her concept of chessboard thinking, which is when you look at something from the perspective of your opponent. And she said that it makes sense that there might be a 19th person on the island. And it would make sense for them to use like a discrete way of sending the letter. I got lost in that sentence. Hold on. She says shit. I don't know. She says that it's weird to like it only makes sense for one of the 18 who are there to do this roundabout method of appearing to Maria and giving her the letter, if they wanted to create an illusion of a 19th person. So essentially, Kyrie is suggesting that there is not a Beatrice on the island who sent this letter. She is saying that it was one of them. But she's also saying my logic could be faulty because chessboard thinking it assumes that your opponent is making all of the correct moves, which they aren't always making all of the correct moves. Um, then Rudolph shows up and he gets all serious, and he's like, I have something to talk to you guys as a family later. And Kyrie and Balor are like, okay, okay. And then he ominously states that he might be killed that night. And then he leaves. And Kyrie's like, yeah, he's weird. Romance is even more mysterious than detective novels. Um, and then she goes and follows him. And we do not find out what the fuck he was gonna say. Not then. This is the witch's epitaph. I'm gonna read it to you now. Or I might just let you read it. I don't know. No, I'll read it. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the golden land. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the one shall be to put the wheat. I was doing so well, and then in the last 2 lines, I tripped it up. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Okay, we're mostly done with exposition now. I promise it's going to get interesting in a second. So after Balor has that weird conversation with his parents, we cut back to the fucking 4 siblings, the 4 children of Kinzo, who are arguing as per usual. They're always arguing constantly. And Kraus steps out with Natsui at some point, his wife, and reveals to her that he shows her a single gold ingot with the Ishirimiya family crest stamped on it, proving that the gold is real. And she gets fucking pissed at him because she's like, why did you not tell me this? I'm your wife. Like, what? Huh? And he's just like, oh, I didn't think you should know as a woman or something. I don't know. He says some bullshit. And Natsui cries because her life sucks so bad and her husband sucks so bad. And she has a crazy headache, and I love her. And so she's just like, I'm done with this shit. My husband doesn't respect me, but I'm still devoted to him because that is what I do. And then she bumps into Jessica, her daughter, who gives Natsui this scorpion charm that Maria gave her earlier. Basically, a charm that Maria said, "Woo woo, it's gonna ward off Beatrice. It'll keep you safe." And Jessica took it to be polite. So then she gave it to Natsui, and Natsui puts it on the inside of her doorknob. She hangs it. She hangs it. And they have a nice little moment, which is nice because Jessica and Natsui's relationship doesn't seem too great, but Jessica honestly turned out pretty good. So I think that Natsui is one of the better moms. And then George proposes to Shannon, which is like kind of cute, but like she cries. And it's like very sweet, but it's also like, then I found out that Shannon is 16 and George is 23, and I was like, ugh, that's kind of a nightmare situation to me. They seem deeply in love and talk about how they're gonna like have children and stuff. And like they talk about the plans for the future, and it's just I don't know. Like if he makes her happy, all I want is for Shannon to be happy. But I think George is a fucking creep. Anyway, so everyone goes to bed. Most of the adults stay up late arguing. There's this wonderful scene in the visual novel where the clock strikes midnight and it plays some spooky music and cuts to everyone in the like on the island and what they're doing at that time. They're all kind of just standing in rooms because it's a visual novel and that's all they do, but it's really good. And then in the morning, Goda and several others are missing. There are also creepy red handprints and kind of scratches all over Natsui's door, which Genji goes to fetch her in the morning and is all like, we cannot find Goda, and also your door looks fucked. And she's like, eek, what the fuck? And immediately, takes charge because she's basically the head of the household. And they kind of go off to try to find the missing people, and Genji is also like, your husband is also missing. Um, and so eventually, after some searching, it takes a while to find them. The bodies of Goda, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Kraus, and Shannon are found in the garden shed. And unfortunately, I can't do it's like, it is a mystery and a kind of a horror novel situation. It's not like the scariest thing ever, but it is deeply unsettling. And the descriptions are very long and very like kind of visceral and a little graphic. And I can't do that justice in a summary. So all I can say is, hey, they found these bodies in the garden shed. But like that scene is actually insane, because the adults come across it and then the kids see that something's happening and they run up before the remaining adults are able to like block them from seeing the site. And Battler has like this complete meltdown, because the bodies in the shed are in a really bad state. Their faces are like carved off. Like their faces are like really fucked up. And essentially they are all kind of missing their faces except for Kraus, who has half of his face, and Shannon has half of her face. But we don't uh George and Battler don't see Shannon's body, but Hideyoshi says that she's only got half a face. And George is all like, "Oh, is she wearing a wedding ring?" And it's like, "Yes, she is." And he's like, "Ugh," and it is like quite sad. Um, but yeah, crazy scene. Voice acting is really good because Balor freaks out. This has voice acting. You guys know that. I've definitely told you that already. Voice acting is really good. So that happens. There's also a very creepy like magic circle kind of like written painted in red on the door of the garden shed thing because it kind of has a garage door esque situation. Um, in Act Two, which I'm designating Act Two, there aren't actually acts. I'm just doing this shit. We find out the external phone lines are down because obviously everyone runs to go call the police. You cannot call the police because the phone lines are down, and they're going to be stuck on the island for another night because the boat can't come because there's a fucking typhoon. The boat was going to come this morning, but it can't now. There's a typhoon. Maria ominously says that the victims were just the blank chosen by the blank, and Battler doesn't hear what she says. And we are essentially in Battler's POV, so if he misses something, then we miss it too, generally. Um, Kinzo's missing. They open his little room. It's not little, it's quite large. He's got a bathroom in there and like a kitchen and shit. And he is super missing. Um, and everyone is shook. Um, and then Ava is suspicious. She's suspicious of everyone, and she herself is a suspicious character because she has the most to gain from all of her siblings dying, because then she would have the headship. She would be next in line, because there's this whole ranking system. Um, so she seems sus, but Balor uses his little chessboard thinking to be like, okay, well, this makes it makes no sense that she would show us where the bodies were and like do the killing so obviously. Like she would do it as accidents. Like that makes no sense. But that's assuming that she would do things all the right way. So who knows? Natsui obtains a rifle suddenly, um, and that's too bad. Well, I mean, it's fine. She kind of yells a lot and wields it a bit recklessly, but what are you gonna do? It's one of Kinzo's guns because one thing about Kinzo is that he's obsessed with like Western culture. Um, that's one of his things. So he had several guns, which is like, as you guys probably get, is like weird for, in Japan, and this is like the 90s. Not that it's different today. They have good gun laws. Um, Canon is sad about Shannon, and then remembers the marks on Natsui's door, uh, which is spooky, because it just is. The servants and Maria believe in Beatrice, and they get really spooky about it in front of Battler. Like, they all look behind him at the same thing. Um, and he turns around and there's nothing there. And like Maria does this like creepy little girl laugh like all the time. And it's really freaky. And then Ava accuses Natsui of killing Kinzo, which is like a wild move because Natsui has a gun actively, and like Ava's like, let me antagonize the shit out of you. Those girls are always fighting. Ava and Natsui do not get along. Um, and Natsui's all like, no, I did not kill him. I love my father. Yada yada. Um, I realize now that the images I put in the slide kind of spoil it. But whatever. Sorry, I yawned. It's because I didn't sleep. Um, Ava and Hideyoshi, they retire to a guest room and then they are murdered. And it's a locked room. There's going to be a lot of locked rooms, so I hope you guys like locked rooms because there is going to be a lot of them over the next several episodes. And then there's also a letter with the same Ushiramiya family crest and the same like stamp on it. Hideyoshi was killed in the shower, which sucks. He's all naked. Is there anything? Basically, there's this ice pick like thing object stabbed into Ava's and Hideyoshi's foreheads. And Hideyoshi is in the shower. Ava is on her bed, and the door is locked from the inside with a chain lock. So it doesn't make sense that someone could go in there and kill them because everything's locked. So that's spooky. All right, guys, we're getting there. We're almost there. If you're still listening, that's really brave of you because I understand that this is probably not very funny and kind of boring because I'm just reciting events that happened and there is no emotional impact to it. But let it be known that this shit's crazy. There's crazy music playing all the time. This episode that I'm reading the summary of is like 130,000 words long, probably. Like I cannot really summarize it properly. So Kanon dies in the basement, and his final scene is very interesting because he is yelling at these golden butterflies that he's seeing, and he's yelling about the devil's roulette, and how he's gonna be the zero of the roulette, and is like, I'm gonna take you on, Beatrice, fuck you. And then he dies. Or he gets like super stabbed. I don't think he dies yet, but he gets stabbed in the heart, I want to say. Balor finds him, and along with the rest of them, and those who are left find him, and then Balor runs out into the courtyard to try to find the culprit, to pursue them, and doesn't see them, and is very upset and screams and cries probably. They find the source of the smell that had been afflicting them, which was Kinzo's burnt ass six-toed body in the boiler room where Kanon died. Kinzo's special because he has 6 toes. It's a whole thing. They're like, how do we know this is Kinzo? It's completely burnt beyond recognition. But then they're like, but look, 6 toes. It has to be him. So there's 8 people left. They hole up in Kinzo's study. Natsui reads the letter from earlier that was left in the locked room or outside the locked room where Ava and Hideyoshi were. And it just says, "Praise my name," and everyone's pissed. So they discuss Beatrice with Genji a lot because Genji knew Kinzo well for a long time. So they're kind of questioning uh, Genji about Beatrice, and Genji's like, he did have a mistress named Beatrice, but I know nothing. I don't know much." And I think Natsui asked if they had a child, and he said, "I don't know anything about that. I never heard of any child." And that's not how he speaks, but it is in my mind. Um, and then Battler finally fucking realizes that the deaths have been following the epitaph because 6 died, and then 2 who were close were killed. And then there was a stake in whatever the fuck in Kanon's chest, heart, and I don't remember where it was. It's going with the epitaph. We be gouging body parts and killing them. And then, so they're in this room. It's Natsui and Balor and Jessica and Maria. And then it's Genji, Nanjo, Kumasawa, and I'm missing someone. Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, it might. But I forgot. Um, I took a break to drink some water and realized that it was George. I forgot about George. He is also with them. So there's 8 of them, and then a letter appears on the table in the middle. They're in Kinzo's study. Did I say that? Hopefully I did. Because it has the strongest lock, and they were like, this is the place to hide out because someone is killing us and we need to just hide. So a letter appears on the table, and Natsui freaks the fuck out because she's like, who put this here? It only could have been Genji, Nanjo, Kumasawa, or Maria, is what she reasons, because everyone else was on the other side of the room. And she wasn't looking that way. And so Natsui freaks out and kicks Maria and the servants out of the safe zone because she is like, why don't you put that letter there? And so you're the killer, or you're in leagues with the killer, including Maria, a 9-year-old girl. Natsui's brutal. Because she was just like, I will protect Jessica no matter what. And you guys are sus. Get out. So they leave. And then everyone talks it over, and they realize that it was a dumb idea. Like, why the fuck did they kick out a child and 3 adults who are now gonna get murdered? Probably. And they're talking about maybe going out to find them and maybe bring them back. And then the phone rings because the phone lines to the outside world are not working, but within the mansion and the guest house, the phone lines are working. The guest house hasn't come up at all. I think it's not relevant. It's not relevant right now. It's just where the cousins stay. It's just another building that is separate from the mansion. But all of this has been happening in the mansion, which is very large because it's a mansion. Uh, so they get a phone call, and it is silent. Like there is nobody talking on the other end, but there is like a distant sound of singing, and I'm seeing a typo that I made right now, which is, I don't know how I did that. Anyways, they go out because the singing sounds like Maria, and they're freaked out because they're like, oh god, Maria's in danger, we need to go check on her. And in the parlor are the very bloody bodies of Genji, Nanjo, and Kumasawa, who have stakes in their bodies, as said in the epitaph. I can't remember the order of the body parts. Sorry. And then Natsui, they're talking to Maria and like begging her to tell them what happened, and she's like, I don't. I Beatrice told me to look at the wall, and sing, so that's what I've been doing. I don't know. I didn't see anything. I've just been singing and staring at the wall. Um, and they're like, God damn it, Maria. Um, and then they realize that Natsui vanished. Because I think Natsui found another letter actually in that room, and then she vanished. And then they freak out because, oh god, one of them vanished. And they run after Natsui, and before they get to her, they hear a gunshot in the Great Hall, where the portrait of Beatrice is. The portrait of Beatrice, by the way, is fucking massive. It is like, at least in the anime they pictured it, it is like floor to the ceiling. Like it is fucking massive. Which is sick. Uh so anyways, they find Natsui on the floor. She's got a bullet wound. She's holding the gun. Uh but they're like, why would she kill herself? Before that, there is the scene with Natsui, not from Balor's perspective because he can't see. But Natsui is challenging Beatrice, and she's seeing the butterflies by Beatrice's portrait, and she like has this badass moment where she's like, I am the representative of the Ushirimiya family, and fuck you," and shoots at the butterflies. And then the bullet hits her somehow. Um, so they find her. At this point, the only people left are Balor and Maria and Jessica and George. And George runs up, or not George, Maria runs up to the portrait of Beatrice and is all like, Beatrice, you're here, yay, yay, yay. And Balor picks up the gun and is taking aim like at the portrait, like presuming that Beatrice is going to show up. And then the clock strikes midnight, and it ends. Um, Beep. Okay, and then begins the end roll, which states that there was unbelievably gruesome scene on the island. That is what the police found. Countless body parts, unidentifiable. Maria's jaw was the only thing that they could properly identify because it could be like matched through dental records. Um, and people didn't know what the fuck happened. It was a mystery. And then years later, a wine bottle with the tale of episode one was found. It basically just says like, this tale was described in it. Like the episode one that we just read was relayed in notebook writing and sent into the sea. It is signed Ushirimiya Maria, which is interesting. And then that incident, after the wine bottle was found, because it was spooky, obviously, and people love spooky shit, it became this kind of unsolved murder sensation, referred to as the Rokkenjima mass murders or the Witches' Legend serial murders. And like BuzzFeed Unsolved would have absolutely done an episode on this shit. Um, the final part of the wine bottle pleads for readers to find the truth. Um, and then when it says that when the seagulls cried, none were left alive. Um, what's fun is that if you stopped reading here, it could work as just as a standalone murder mystery, like interesting story. You would not be able to. I don't think you would be able to figure out who it was from this story. But I honestly, the reason that I'm describing it to you guys in order and not giving any spoilers, and I'm also gonna ask you, I don't think any of you would have done this anyways, but like, don't look up anything, don't look up who the culprit is, please. it'll just kind of make things less fun for you. Wow, that person is going really slow on the highway. Holy shit. Um, Sorry, I got distracted by the highway as I do. Um, yeah, just don't look that up. I think based on my summary, it would be very surprising if anyone was able to guess the culprit because there are so many clues that you can only see like in the visual novel itself, and I could barely fucking figure it out. So um but it's still fun to like, I don't know. It's fun the way that the way that the story is presented to you is important, and the order in which you see things and learn things is also important. So that's that on that. But it's not that on that because we have the tea party. We open in this like tea parlor. The cousins, which the cousins, which means George, Jessica, Battler, and Maria, are enjoying tea with Shannon and Kanon, and they address the reader and congratulate them for finishing the story. They wonder if it was like the bad ending. And George talks about how he remembers feeling like his body had been eaten apart and dismembered. Uh, and they begin to accept the witch's existence. And they note that like Maria was kept alive probably because she had earned Beatrice's favor because she always believed in her. Um, and they are like, oh, we should try solving the epitaph. Maybe then we could get a better ending. Battler is silent during this tea party. He's unsettled that they all are believing in the witch so blindly, and he questions them. Um, and he denies the witch's existence and criticizes them for having stopped thinking. And he starts coming up with like some random explanations for the murders that weren't magic. Um, he can't explain the guest room murder, the locked room one with the chain. He fully cannot explain that, but he's still like, uh, fuck you guys. um, you stopped thinking. And then Beatrice appears, and it's fucking crazy. She just shows up, and she laughs like a fucking maniac, and she's all like, "Yeah, uh, Ushirmiya Battler," and she's charmed by his magic resistance. He has this inherent magic resistance due to he has Kinzo's blood real strongly, and Kinzo had bad blood in terms of magic, I guess. And she loves that he's stubborn, and she just can't wait to make him submit to her. And then they argue mostly about Eva and Hideyoshi's deaths, which Beatrice claims was the doing of her stakes of purgatory, who are able to infiltrate the cracked door and bounce all over the walls and then hit people and kill them. Um, and Balor is like, I don't give a shit. That's not real. Witches aren't real. Fuck you. And then the other cousins and also the Shannon and Kanon are like in horrible pain, and they're like literally falling apart before his eyes. It's quite gruesome. And they're like begging Balor to just accept the witch. Like, please just accept the witch. Like, we can't exist if you don't accept the witch. Um, and he's like, never, fuck this shit. Um, and then it kind of ends. They all fall apart into puddles of blood, and Balor cries probably. Then we got the question marks. Um, this is Burncastle. Meet Burncastle. Uh, she's the Witch of Miracles. She shows up. And this is like when you're playing the game, this is insane. It's like, oh my god, Beatrice just showed up in the flesh and talked to us, and now fucking there's another witch here, and you can't see it in the visual novel, but when you open up her character profile, she's got this cute little kitty tail, and you're like, oh my god, what's going on? And she actually is a reference to, you know what, I'm not going to get into that actually. Never mind. Um, so Berncastle is chatting with Beatrice, and Beatrice is very honored that Berncastle has shown up in her fragment to chat with her. Berncastle is so she's the Witch of Miracles, which means that she can cause success without fail as long as the probability isn't zero. And it's revealed that Beatrice is the Endless Witch, which gives her the power to kill and revive people endlessly. You might see where this is going. Um, Berncastle, they talk about how Berncastle is the strongest witch now because she beat the witch Lambda Delta, who was previously thought of as the strongest witch. Don't worry about this. Um, Bern, I'm probably just gonna call her Bern a lot. She's really just driven by boredom. She talks about how she's lived a long time and she searches these fragments for entertaining things. And she decides that Beatrice's game that she's playing looks interesting. Um, and then Beatrice leaves, and it's just Bern. And she looks at the camera and she speaks to someone, and she tells them that Beatrice is a personification of the rules of this world, uh, like the rules of a game. And if you observe the movements of the pieces, it will expose Beatrice's heart, which is important. And then Byrne says that she feels empathy for the person she's speaking to, but will not help them. And she says that she will enjoy the tale until she grows bored of it, and tells her that she's going to support you, but only because she wants this story to be enjoyable to her. And she says, "Don't bore me, keep me entertained." So I got so then then that's the end of episode one. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? My initial questions were pretty much, what the fuck just happened? What happened in the tea party? What happened in the question marks? What's going on? Why is Ballard denying witches when he obviously was talking to one? What the fuck is happening? Um, Another question I had was, why was Kinzo so nice to Natsui in that one scene? There was one scene I didn't talk about because it's not super important, but it really stuck with me where Natsui goes to visit Kinzo, and they have this whole conversation where he tells her that though she's not permitted to wear the one-winged eagle on her body, or like on her person, like either in her clothes or a tattoo or something, that she can wear it on her heart. And he also implies that he was like, if you were a man and Kraus your wife, nah, I shan't say it. And it's like a pretty funny line because he's basically saying, I wish you were my kid and also you were a man. That would be great. Um, and it sounds fucked, but it's like quite touching because Natsui goes through a lot of shit, and there's kind of an assumption up until that point that Kinzo doesn't like her. So it's like a really oddly tender scene that stuck out to me, and I was like, Kinzo seems like a dick. Why the fuck was he so nice to Natsui in that one scene? I don't get it. Um, Kinzo threw the ring away. The lightning accepted it. It was a very dramatic moment. Like when he was starting the game, he was like, the ritual is beginning now. He threw his ring out the window and lightning hit it. And I was like, is that related at all to how the moment, like, was that when Maria was in the rose garden alone and she supposedly met Beatrice? Um, because I think he was throwing it towards the rose garden. Uh, I also said, how the fuck did Rudolph know that he was going to get murdered? That's suspicious of him. Sounds like something a murderer would say. And the obvious question of who gave Maria the umbrella slash the letter, like you can narrow it down a bit. Like it can't be any of the parents because they all had alibis for each other. The servants don't really have alibis, so they're kind of suspicious. Because whoever gave Maria the umbrella and the letter from Beatrice is, either a culprit or someone working with the culprit. So figuring out who interacted with Maria at that time would be very helpful, but there's no way to know. And also, there's this whole thing where Maria has a little rose that she grows attached to, and then it disappears, and she freaks out and cries. I skipped some stuff. I skipped the like I didn't feel like getting into the whole scene, but like something that you should know is that Rosa like verbally and physically abuses her child Maria. Like it is shown at length. I mean, it's not shown because it's like there aren't pictures or artwork or any like I mean it's just like them standing there, but like it is not subtle at all. Like she like slaps Maria multiple times, and then George is like, hey, well, fucking Balor based is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't hate your kid, and tries to get in between them, and Rosa like growls at him or something, and then George, who's a coward and a bitch and I hate him, is all like, this is a matter between um, parent and child. We should just leave. And then they leave, and Maria continues to be abused, and it sucks. Um, but anyways, she had this rose that she got attached to, and then it vanished, and she was like freaking out over it. And it's like, where the fuck did it go? Is it important? Because it like, did it actually just fly away? And then there's the obvious question of like, could there be a 19th person? Is there a 19th person? Who would be the 19th person? I thought there were only 18 people. That's what you told me earlier, Silas. So I don't know. Oof, we are well past an hour. Everyone said, "Oh yeah, Silas, make that video. I want to. It'll be great. I want to hear it." This is it, and I could have made this video 10 hours long. So you're lucky. But also like you're brave if you're still watching this. I'm very impressed and humbled. Um, but hopefully you're doing something else at the same time. If you're giving it your undivided attention, I'd be very impressed. You should do that because there's a lot to remember, but you shouldn't actually do that because mostly I just wanted you guys to know what happened. Generally, what happened. Um, Solange has just texted that one of the biggest furry conventions takes place in Pittsburgh every year, and the theme this year is Deep Blue Sea. I will be going to Pittsburgh whenever that is. Um, so I'll see you guys all at Pittsburgh Deep Blue Sea Furry Convention. Most people's personas are not ocean creatures, so that's an interesting theme. But what are you gonna do? Here were my initial impressions. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. These were the impressions I had when I first from what I can remember, when I first read this. I was like, okay, the culprit clearly was to be like, their intention was clearly like to be unreadable. Like they are doing the crime in a way that doesn't make sense when you use chessboard thinking, because why would you show off, why would you display your kills in such a manner, unless you're trying to make everyone believe that there's a 19th person. But like there is a lot of like, it's very doubtful that there's a 19th person because they are literally the only ones on the island. Like they control who else comes on the island. There's one harbor. uh there weren't any other servants working that day. Like it's very doubtful that there is a 19th person. So but whoever is doing the killings clearly wanted them to think that. Rosa is a really interesting character that I fucking hate. Um, as a youngest sibling, I empathize with her a bit, and her backstory is like, you get it later. It's quite sad. And the family the family is really fucked up. There's a lot of fucked up dynamics that become apparent over the course of the game, and it's just Rosa is kind of a tragic character, and it's tragic that she perpetuates the cycle of abuse so needlessly. It's quite sad. Her and Maria make me very sad. I hate her. I wish she would die. But she doesn't. Well, she did actually. Um, Also, something interesting is that so when you're playing, you can open up the character profiles and they have descriptions. And after they die, it says how they died, and it has a little sentence usually. And Rosa's description after she died said, "I'll be seeing her again, so I'm not lonely." And that immediately made me think, were the descriptions written by Maria? Because the message bottle was supposedly written by Maria. Like the tale was written by Maria, supposedly. Um, so it would make sense that the descriptions were as well, because why else would she say that? Um, because she was the one who believed in the golden land. Like Maria was always saying, like, it's fine that the witch is killing us, because she genuinely believed that they were all going to be revived. And that's why she is so calm over the course of that. Like, that's one of the main reasons. Like, she's super creepy because she believes in Beatrice and is like, oh, it's fine. uh my mom died, but like I don't care because I'm gonna see her again. So it's interesting that that was in the description. um the Devil's Roulette is interesting. Kinzo is crazy and very interesting. He's like, it's crazy that he's like completely confident that he's not gonna die. He's like, he's not completely confident, but he was like, kill whoever you want. I am going to live. I'm going to see you, Beatrice. Beatrice. Because I mean, I didn't talk about it, but the very beginning, like the prologue, is Kinzo yelling about Beatrice and saying that he would do anything to see her smile one more time, and he's crying a lot. Um, Initial character impressions were that I hated George. I continue to hate him also. I love Shannon. I love Count On. I love Battler, Jessica, Natsui, Kinzo, Maria. Those are my faves. And when Beatrice showed up, instant favorite character, immediate love. I love her so much. I'm snapping. I don't know if you can hear it. Snap, snap. Oh, sorry. I think I just hit the mic. We made it to my works cited. Um, you can just read this. I don't need to read this out loud. I stole a lot of memes. Please forgive me. Um, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Ask me any questions you have. Let me know if you want me to expand on anything or clarify anything. Um, Enjoy this picture of Beatrice where she's very cute. I will make the episode 2 lecture depending on how this is received. My fucking uh, hour and 13-minute long video. And if I feel like making it, I'll make it. I don't know when. Oh shit! I just like. Oh, never mind. Don't look at that. Well, it doesn't matter. You can look at that. Lol. Okay, I'm done.